This insane Bitcoin catalyst is going to send the price of Bitcoin way higher than most people expect. Here's your new Bitcoin chart. So we're on the weekly here. Look at this, 7 consecutive green weekly candles. It's just been one continual nonstop bid since we hit the 74K lows. It's insane. Now, of course, correction will come. We'll get a red weekly candle at some point. That'll be a welcome correction, a welcome cool down after such relentless buying, but it doesn't mean the bull market's over. Needless to say, Bitcoin looking super strong right now. We got over 110K, new all-time highs hit. Bitcoin firmly establishing itself as a six-figure asset. So today I want to discuss the catalyst behind this recent price action, or more specifically, who is driving the prices higher. So let's begin first by discussing who is not moving the price right now. And that's retail. Regular people are not buying Bitcoin. How do we know? Google searches for Bitcoin are at a 5-year bottom. The Coinbase app is listed at 21 on the App Store for finance apps and like 260, 270 for all apps. Ages away from the kind of mania that you would see for the Coinbase app at the top. Addresses holding 0.01, 0.1, and 1 Bitcoin, even 10 Bitcoin are either flat or slightly falling. They're not buying. So given this most definitely is not retail, it leaves only one option. Institutional adoption is here in a very big way. The big money boys are here. We're gonna break this down into two groups for today. So starting with the ones that I think are having the biggest impact on price right now, and the ones that'll probably have the biggest impact on the price later. Now, we can't get too deep into the weeds on this because it's such a big topic, but if you go to bitcointreasuries.net and you start exploring, there's 108 companies right now that are currently holding Bitcoin on their balance sheets. In fact, a new Swedish company was announced today. They bought like 5 Bitcoins, not massive, but it all adds up. Now, I discussed this 2 months ago, it was around 90. A few months before that, it was like 70. By the way, a lot of the companies are buying tens of millions or billions of dollars Bitcoin. Basel, a medical company out of Singapore, announcing $1 billion buy the other day. And these companies are generally a mix of Bitcoin treasury plays like MicroStrategy, the most famous one, 21, Nakamoto, or we have crypto native companies like Marathon, Galaxy Digital, or really any run-of-the-mill company that's making money in more traditional industries, but now they're choosing a Bitcoin treasury strategy. Semler Scientific, Metaplanet, Rumble. Some of these charts have gone absolutely parabolic because of their Bitcoin strategy choice. So now check out how much Bitcoin these companies have collectively stacked, around 800,000 Bitcoin, and yes, about 75% of that is in the hands of MicroStrategy. So you got to keep that in mind. But others are catching up. They're buying more. They're getting on board with the strategy. But look when the stacking really took off. November 2024. Now that should be ringing an alarm bell for you, and we're gonna discuss that more in a moment. But before we do that, guys, if you're buying Bitcoin, trading Ethereum, Solana, Dogcoins, you need a good place to do that. That place is called Femex, OG cryptocurrency exchange, deep liquidity. They've literally been around for years. I've been trading with them for years. And here's the deal. No KYC. Use the link below. There'll be no KYC for you. You might need a VPN depending on where you live, but no KYC. And basically, available to anyone, anywhere, okay? So go check it out. Here's the deal too. You're gonna get some pretty insane bonuses. So up to $30,000, in fact, in deposit and trading bonuses. All the details are down below in the link there. Go check it out if you're looking for a great place to trade coins. Femex is a great option for you. So, publicly traded companies. These guys have increased their stacks by 117% since November. And we've had literally a few dozen new ones added. Of course, MicroStrategy owns 72% of all that Bitcoin. The others only 28% so far. So that's where we are. But now the question is, where are these companies headed? And will we get more? I think we're gonna have a big corporate announcement, probably something like Meta soon. And I think it's gonna be full steam ahead when that happens. In fact, at the time I put together this research, MicroStrategy had announced another $2.1 billion offering of preferred STRF shares for the purpose of buying more Bitcoin. Then if you look at the purchasing routines of Metaplanet, Semler Scientific, Cooler Technologies, and many others, these guys are just going to keep buying because it keeps working. Then there's all the emerging treasury plays that are coming out right now. For example, we have David Bailey, CEO of Bitcoin Magazine. He's launching Nakamoto. We have Jack Mallers, the CEO of Strike. He's working with SoftBank and Bitfinex to launch 21. We have Vivek Ramaswamy. He's launching Strive. These companies are gathering billions and billions of dollars from investors to go and buy Bitcoin. It's gonna have a huge impact, and that money has not been deployed yet. Finally, we got GameStop. There's $6 billion in cash. They should be announcing a purchase really anytime now. It's been a few weeks, so that's still coming. And then they'll issue out more stocks and buy more Bitcoin, and they'll go crazy. Look, in the short term, I'm very confident we'll see publicly traded companies gobble up probably 1 million Bitcoin, potentially by the end of the year. But this really probably happens in the next 4 to 5 months. So ultimately, these companies help cement Bitcoin as a six-figure asset class, and it's this group that will push prices into the 200 to 300K zone. And then, of course, we'll get more big corporates announced, and that would be a continual strategy for a lot of companies for years to come, but this is the big moment for it. Now, turning to the group that's just now barely dipped their toes into the water, you might know who I'm talking about, nation states, and sometimes states of nations as well. So here, let's set the table. Countries that are officially holding Bitcoin right now. America's in the lead with around 190,000 Bitcoin, but they haven't done an audit, so officially that we don't know what the exact number is. China is close behind. They have about 190K or so, and talks going on allegedly that they're going to be starting a strategic Bitcoin reserve as well, but we have no direct confirmation that that is indeed going to be happening. But that is currently the rumor going around, okay? We know the Emiratis, their Abu Dhabi Sovereign Wealth Fund has got $500 million in Bitcoin. But let's all just take a moment of silence for Germany, who sold all their Bitcoin bags in the 50K zone. Thanks for your service, guys. Right now, the governments are officially holding over 500,000 Bitcoin, but in practice, we know it's more than this, and that's because sovereign wealth funds, which are state-owned investment funds that help manage a country's wealth, have been buying Bitcoin. So we've had various rumors throughout the years from Qatar buying, Singapore's been buying. We have news Mubadala, an Abu Dhabi sovereign wealth fund, which manages about $330 billion in total assets. They now have about a $500 million position in BlackRock's DEBIT. So you can add, of course, the UAE to your list of countries that are officially stacking. Oman's probably stacking. They're mining Bitcoin. We don't know what they're doing with the Bitcoin that they're mining, probably keeping it. Now, what we've discussed is what's been confirmed. Keep in mind that most likely there's countries and sovereign wealth funds that are buying in the shadows right now. Also, by the way, Brazil's still debating us buying Bitcoin as well. Now, David Bailey, again, CEO of Bitcoin Magazine, often reminds us of this, right? That there's a lot of secret stuff going on. This would make sense given Bitcoin's recent price action. Just seems like there's a persistent, non-stop bid pushing prices higher that'll buy it at any price. So now the question is, where are we headed with all this? Well, we've just barely started. We haven't really seen anything yet. More specifically, we know the USA will start stacking. Howard Lutnick, Commerce Secretary, has been tasked with finding ways to do that. Regardless if it's through legislation or executive action, it's coming, which is also probably why the corporations upped their purchases in November. Then there's the US states. New Hampshire just signed the reserve into law. Big deal. They can soon start buying via their public funds. Arizona passed a budget-neutral reserve where the state will have the ability to find more creative ways to accumulate some Bitcoin, so long as public funds aren't used to do it. And here's the big one, of course, Texas. Texas, man, the 8th biggest economy in the world. The Texas legislature, which represents just a beast of an economy, passed a Texas Strategic Bitcoin Reserve bill. It's headed to the governor's desk, and it should get signed. I don't see why Governor Abbott wouldn't sign that bill. The governor's a Republican. He's pro-crypto. He's pro-Bitcoin. It's going to happen. So I think he signs it. Now, this Texas reserve is a hybrid between the New Hampshire and Arizona reserves. The legislature can appropriate public funds for the purchase of Bitcoin, and the state will also be able to collect Bitcoin through state taxes and fees. Huge, massive. From governments to corporations, whales, billionaires, everybody. Huge amounts of money is coming in. Yeah, USA is probably going to lead the way on their strategic reserve. It'll be massive. People are massively underestimating right that. And I could go on all day, but really zooming out, if it's the corporations that send us through the 6 figures, then it's the nation states who are going to take it to 7 figures eventually. And I think that this happens. Might take a few years, but that's the direction we're heading in. So these are the players that are buying Bitcoin right now. They're going to send the prices way higher than most people think. Just got to hold strong, guys. Thanks for watching.